guys, Adam from Ecowise here. Look at this. Spectacular, right? This is a wild cherry tree. Prunus avium in Latin it's called. Doesn't really matter what it's called. But look at it. It's got these incredible white flowers at their best right now, and it's full of bees and insects. The leaf itself doesn't have, the tree itself doesn't have leaves in it, you can see. It's just got these beautiful white flowers that are out now, attracting the bees, and it's giving them a free gift, you know. And they're doing a service to it too, pollinating. And in this area on the hills where I live here, all of the wild cherries are flowering now all at once. And the amazing thing, so it looks like kind of clouds of white billowing over the hills here, but it's actually these incredible wild cherry trees. Now, in about 2 months, it depends what happens, if there's storms on, the temperature on this, but if things go well, I can predict, knowing something about cycles and knowing something about seasons, that these, if they're pollinated, these white flowers will turn into fruit, wild cherries, and some years they're like big and they're really good. And in Latin, like I said, prunus avium, because avium is birds, right? Because the birds love these. Well, so do I. I come here and I collect them. Now this is going to be hard, but there's some younger trees, like over this area maybe you can see, that are easier to get to the low branches, and they're so sweet and they're so good. By the way, this is a deciduous tree, this cherry, so it doesn't have leaves now because we're at the beginning of spring. The leaves are all down here from last autumn when they fell off, because they kind of sleep, they hibernate in the winter, right? They lose their leaves. But now is the spring, so they put out the flowers first, probably so they can be seen because they're visible from a long way away. They've also got a scent, so the insects come to give them a gift, the nectar, and then they pollinate the tree. But the leaves aren't out yet, so they're just starting to break out. But all this here, all these green leaves here, is ivy that's growing up the tree, Hydra helix. And this ivy is kind of like cuddling the tree. Now some people say that it's bad for the tree and it hurts the tree, and I don't think this tree's got a problem. I think they're living pretty well together. And this ivy here makes an incredible habitat and a great place for insects, all kinds of biodiversity, especially birds. There are loads of birds, robins and blackbirds and thrush and blackcaps and wrens that I've seen, but they nest in here. And these berries that are here provide food for all kinds of, especially birds, but other animals too. If I eat this, I'll be sick. It's poisonous for me, but for birds it's not. And then the bird eats it, let's say a blackbird or a thrush, flies off, gets a free meal, flies off, takes a dump, poos, and then it produces, you know, a nice little package with some fertilizer, organic fertilizer, right, into the soil, and this ivy will spread. And often the bird will poo in a branch in a tree, and the poo will go into the crack in the bark, and the ivy will try to grow there. And they can even grow out there and then put down, well, they're just amazing things. Anyway, enough from me. Hope you guys are all well. Bye-bye. Hi guys, Adam from Ecowise here. Just check out behind me, I don't know if you can see. We've got all this amazing white cherry blossom. These are wild cherries here. And behind it, on the hill behind, there's lots of tree trunks with green ivy growing up it. That are like these vertical shapes, can you see? So you got these kind of billowing clouds of white blossom here with those shapes behind it. And I'm describing it in words now, so I could perhaps write something about what I'm seeing and feeling. I could even perhaps make a piece of music inspired by this, what it makes me feel like. Those white cherry blossoms, what kind of note, what kind of feel of music would you put to that? What about the background with those vertical green tree trunks? What kind of rhythm could you put to that? What kind of music, how does it make you feel musically? What about, if you didn't want to do it with words, you didn't want to do it with music, what about trying to paint it? Maybe you could try describing through your painting exactly what you see, the exact colors and shapes. Or maybe you can try describing through your painting what it makes you feel like, because the world around us alters and affects the way we feel, but the way we see the world and perceive the world and relate to the world is also affected by the way we feel and the thoughts we have and our ideas. Oh, I'm going to fall down the hill. So if I'm in a good mood, I'm going to see this probably as being really beautiful, and I'm like, wow, look at what a great thing. If I'm in a bad mood, I'll be like, oh man, this is so boring. I wish I could go and see my friends and hang out with my friends, because we've been in lockdown for more than a month, which we have, and so have you. But wherever you are, you've got these kind of events happening around you. Maybe not just like here, because this is where I am, but wherever you are, I'm sure if you're on your balcony or in your garden, look out the window, you're going to see things changing. And the way that the light changes during the day. This light now with these cherry blossoms, because the sun, you can see it probably, is behind. It's the morning light. This is southeast. The sun's come up over there. It's going to go across the sky and going to go down over there behind those hills. Goes from the east to the west. And every minute, every second of the day, the sun's in a slightly different position. It's a bit higher, it's a bit further west, it's a bit further south. And the way that this scene looks, even if you're looking out the same window, it's never the same view. Never. Because the seasons change, the height, everything changes. See if you can notice those minute changes and perhaps record them in some way with words, with visual art like drawing or painting, perhaps musically, whatever it is, and see if you can notice how the way that you feel affects what you perceive in the world and the way the world seems, and that the way the world is affects the way that you feel, because it's strange, it's interaction. So, good idea to keep positive. We're all a bit bored, but try cultivating some patience. Think about people who are in a harder position than you are, because I bet all the people who are listening to this right now have got food, have got electricity, have got a roof over their heads, got running water. Perhaps, if you're watching me, you've got the internet. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of other people right now that don't have those things. So appreciate where you are, the beauty of where you are, the way that you can respond to your environment, and appreciate everything we've got and how privileged and lucky we are. And that'll make you start to think about others and ways that perhaps we can help them. One of the ways we can help each other and everybody around us is keeping positive, because we're going to get through this. So keep positive and appreciate where you are. Love to you guys. Adam from Ecowise. Bye-bye.